Thank you for this important dialogue. Moving on to our next session, the CEO and VIP panel. Please welcome our moderator, Yigal Unna, former Director General, Israel National Cyber Directorate, INCD, and our panelist, Serge Jorgensen, partner Crowe, Dr. Christopher Peylo, Chief Cybersecurity Officer, Bosch, GmbH, Shira Rubinoff, CEO, the Cybersphere Group, Limor Ganot, Managing Partner, Gefen Capital Board Member, and Razod, CEO, Isracard.
Oh, well, yes, in short. 15 years ago, I think that cyber was not on the agenda of any board. It was a technical issue. The IT guys will deal with it. It never rose to the level of a board discussion. Fast forward 15 years today, I think that cyber is on the top of the agenda of every board that I sit on. And the reason is that cyber it's not a regular risk. It's not, okay, I mean, should we go into this market? Should we exit this market? Is this customer going to churn? It's an existential risk. If a company faces a serious and very effective cyber attack, it can literally destroy the company. And I think that if you ask board members what keeps them up at night, that will be the thing, cyber. And the reasons are, there are a lot of reasons to that, but mostly board members don't understand cyber. They can't quantify the risk, which is a big issue. And they're struggling with the right way to mitigate that risk. And I can tell you that I'm on the board of a company that's traded in the UK. And the last board member that we onboarded was a board member with a very, very strong tech background. And that's something that I think we're seeing more and more in boards, people that are not coming from the financial sector, but from the tech sector. We established a tech committee that deals with cyber risk. I'm the chairman of the Audit and Risk Committee. We also deal with cyber risk. The board itself deals with cyber risk. So I think that, to summarize, the involvement of boards in the mitigation of cyber risks has expanded dramatically, and it's definitely going to be the case for the next, not few years, many years.
So it has a tremendous impact on our cybersecurity strategy as well. So far, when we were confronted more with business-driven attackers, there is some rationality. So if our defense is by attacking their ROI. So they see it as a certain invest to hack into a company and to gain something. But if the price to get in is higher than what they get out, it's not rational doing that. And this strategy carried us well for the last years. However, in state-sponsored attackers, they have different goals. They are not driven by revenues, and here the target is completely different. If you are in a crosshair of a state-sponsored attacker, this one wants to get in, no matter what it does cost. And this is, for a commercial company, very difficult. So this new threat model is a big challenge. And regarding our IoT products, so we do not only have to secure the product itself. So there are laws of product liability or so that we are forced anyway to look for very stable and well-engineered products. But now, let's assume we have stoves and kitchen equipment and heating systems which can be controlled remotely. So for an attacker, it could be very attractive trying to attack via the backbone, by the back end of us, than the power grid also, by controlling the devices for generating effects on the power grid. This is a threat which we didn't have to be aware of several years ago. But now it's, we have to prepare accordingly. So a huge challenge and a huge impact on our strategy in defense.
Serge, you have a global wide-angle experience as leader of Crowe LLP. And if you can say a few words about Crowe for those who still don't know, you know the big four, so they're the big eight, still very big. You have a global cybersecurity solutions in your responsibility. What are the things that people don't think about when building resilience?
Yeah, a lot of what I take into account is from the incident response perspective. So one of the things that I've been working on in Crowe is building a incident response informed, business-aware strategy. And I think that's something that we all need to consider, because when you look at resilience, we have to plan for failure. And I know that's what a lot of your team is working on, is we can't keep the state actor out. So when they get in, or when organized crime gets in, what are we going to do to detect them and respond to it? But when you really think about building resilience, one of the pieces that surprises a lot of the victims, so we handle our incident response matter, we help with the forensics, it's the 6 months, 12 months down the road when plaintiff's counsel comes calling, when regulators come calling, and all of a sudden you're facing a bill and a legal challenge that's hundreds of millions of dollars more than the actual incident costs. So when you look at that public-private partnership, and you look at how our company's supposed to defend, I'll use a US example just for purposes of a demonstration. If you have an incident in the US that affects more than 500 people, and any one of those lives in the state of Maine, then part of your incident response process is to notify the Maine Attorney General of the issue. Something very similar in some European states, that you have to notify that DPO. As soon as you do that in Maine, that notice gets posted on the website in Maine, and immediately you get the plaintiff's counsel filing a class action against you. And when you look at Equifax, Capital One, Marriott, all of those settlements in the hundreds of millions and billions of dollars, and people aren't thinking about that and planning on the downstream impact and the results. The other one that's really interesting that people aren't thinking about is the importance of that partnership and the collaboration. We're seeing more and more issues where an attack happens in the supply chain, and the communication from that critical vendor, that critical supplier, is we have something happening on our network and we'll let you know in 30 days, or we'll let you know after we complete our investigation. And you're now stuck because you can't move forward until you've talked to those suppliers. So the encouragement would be to reach out and talk to those nth party vendors and make sure that you're planning beforehand how you're going to respond, how you're going to deal with the legal challenges because of the interconnected systems that you're having there.
Thank you. Shira, a little about the human factor. With your impressive mileage in cybersecurity, what are the main challenges in building cyber resilience regarding the human factor? Is there a difference between top executive level and the lower levels?
Well, excellent question, thank you. And just a little bit of background, I was trained as a psychologist before I got into cyber. I've been in cyber for almost 25 years and ran a couple companies, advised later stage startups all the way up to the largest companies in the world, but it's the same problem that manifests itself from small companies all the way up to the top. A lot of organizations, as we heard from before, CISOs are struggling with budgets. Where do we secure? Where do we spend? And it really boils down to the human. Really, when we talk about the weakest link in the chain, you could all look at the human and say, there's the problem. Or we could turn the human into part of the solution. A lot of organizations, they would say, well, we're going to look at the higher level executives because they have the best access, the most access that could cause companies problems. However, if we all understand cybersecurity, you just need one entree point. And who is the weakest link or who is the most vulnerable? It could go all the way from the intern from a company all the way up to someone in the boardroom. Today, a lot of boardrooms have now put in cybersecurity specialists alongside CISOs as well in order to understand the makeup of the organization and where security needs to be held. So think about updated security and training within organizations. That's one of the pillars of cyber hygiene, which really creates almost, I'd call it, a proactive cybersecurity approach. Second, obviously we have all the technology there, but you got to understand the makeup and securing humans in your organization. So if you're just focused at the top level, think about what goes down lower. Every person within the organization has some access in one way or the other. You could have an intern coming in working on a project, and all sorts of phishing attempts could be made. We could go into the whole social engineering part, but I'm not going to go all the way there. Everybody needs to be touched upon when it comes to securing, it's called the human, securing the organization, and having the best cyber resilience. So from the bottom up, top down, across everybody. No one should be left out, and no one could be left out.
Thank you. Interesting. Ran, just finishing 4 years as the leader of one of the Israeli major finance entities, Isracard, a multiplication of maybe the two most targeted, cyber-targeted entities, finance sector and Israel combined. So a survivor, worth applause, I think. How do you connect business risk to technological risk and reputational risk, and what is the line that connects all of that?
Okay, as a CEO, I look at cyber through the lens of management risk. For us in financial services, the critical asset is trust, customer trust and market reputation. Therefore, cyber sits in the midst of the business risk, the technology risk, and of course the reputation risk, not just the technology itself. Our responsibility as management is to make sure we can continue operation through any attack and make sure our customer can continue get their critical services done, and at the same time recover rapidly and transparently. Therefore, investment in cyber resilience is not investment in technology. It is investment in business continuation and preserving our reputation. From our point of view, even a short time of losing market trust has a bigger impact on the business side than any technology aspect.
Thank you. Second round. Serge, we'll start with you. Who internally, and then continuing what Ran just said, who internally needs to be involved in building resilience and why? Technologically, not technologically?
That has been an interesting part of joining the Crowe team as well recently, was realizing that technology is finally made into the boardroom, and it does incorporate keeping the business running, but it is so critical to involve all of the different areas in your resilience program. It's easy to ask the engineers. I'm an electrical engineer by education, and we can keep things running and we can keep things going, and you say, I don't have internet, what am I going to do now? And we can figure out those solutions. But if you don't have the CFO and the finance team at the table, and you haven't really done that analysis of how much does it cost on a daily basis, some of the decisions that get made about negotiating with threat actors and paying ransom and investment dollars all depend on the finance team. The legal teams, as I was going to earlier, become an important part of the discussion, and the audit and compliance teams. But what I would add to that, not just who needs to be involved, but be ready to make trades between those different teams. And as we start looking at what is our minimally viable product, how are we going to continue operations, continue those services in some basic levels, and how am I making trades between the different groups to keep things running? So whoever needs to be in the room in order to make those trades and provide the feedback loop between all of them.
Thank you. Shira, You may have heard, all of you, the two letters A and I, maybe here and there. So a few questions for all of you about AI and cybersecurity. So the intersection of cybersecurity and AI, how that manifests itself across organizations from the human perspective, you know, us dealing with this new thing that's almost or about to replace us.
Well, that's an excellent and very poignant question for today. You know, I speak to quite a few companies regularly, and one of the things that I think we've all seen in the media, a lot of companies are laying off tons of people, and they say we're replacing with AI. So that, number one, is a big problem. I think, you know, right now AI is still in its infancy. There's a lot of great things that AI does, automation, helping, you know, swallow massive amounts of data, able to help us along the way, both proactively, reactively on many different areas. However, it is very critical to have the human involved. I encourage organizations and talk to them quite in depth about utilizing AI as almost like a tool, assisting the human. We still have issues with hallucinations, we have issues along the LLMs, lots of different problems that have not yet been mitigated completely. And if we just go across and just utilize AI across our organizations without the use of a human monitoring and helping enable the humans to be more proactive and be more work well within their jobs themselves, and give them tools to do a better job and do a more specific job that would enhance what they're trying to do better, faster, stronger, without replacing them. I think not only will your workforce be more allegiant to you, want to stay, want to grow with you, have better cyber culture, but also be able to progress your company in a way that you see that the organization needs to go. So again, it's utilizing AI as a tool alongside the human, not completely replacing. Obviously, there's replacing components of it, but not across the board.
Thank you. Dr. Christoph, you know a thing or two about AI. Dr. Christoph has still a strong background in AI as the manager of Bosch Center of AI for many years. Now in the role of the CISO of a huge corporate, how does Bosch assess and govern cybersecurity risk introduced by AI, particularly in agentic AI, agentic systems, and the supply chain related use cases?
Yeah, to make it short, and I will explain it later, agentic AI has all the great ingredients for great cinema. Yeah, so everything can happen here. As a private person, and still I did my PhD in AI, I'm absolutely fascinated what AI can do. However, as a person responsible for cybersecurity, I don't like it and I'm shocked, because it's better for the attacker than for the defender. So I told you earlier that our goal is to attack the ROI of an attacker. Now with this great means of automation for an attacker, they can reduce their marginal costs per attack. And so 3 years ago, we had hundreds of thousands attacks each month. Now we have millions. And this is nasty. And for me as a defender, AI is not good to use because it's simply not good enough for that. I need almost 100% precision for protecting, for automated protecting, for safeguarding our systems, because there are sensitive systems. And this is not feasible with AI. It's, you have hallucinations, perhaps 5% of that, and then you have this alignment problem. Yeah, people are focusing on AGI, but the point where you lose control is when an intelligence develops its own goals. And this research points to that has already happened. So I can't use it as a tool. I have to use it as an entity in the intelligence between perhaps me and my dog, but still with own goals. And there could this misalignment problem, and there is no dog leash for AI. So I have to keep the human in the loop. And agentic AI people have chosen to choose a very powerful protocol, human language, but which can't be verified. It's in the Chomsky hierarchy, type 0 language. You have the decision problem, so you can't safeguard the protocol. So that's a mess. And still you can use AI for getting your teams more proficient, more effective, but humans have to be in the loop, and you can't trust AI and have to have it doesn't mean that it's hurting you, but it can be attacked and turned against you because it can follow own goals. And then you have not millions of defenders, but millions of additional attackers. And so for me, in my position, it's a mixed blessing. I use it, but carefully and in a setting where the human still is in control.
As a former CISO of Israel, I just got, don't trust AI. No, I got it correct. Ran.
Because nobody, especially not if it's artificial, and you can't understand.
That's the worst, I agree. Ran, as the CEO of Isracard, you successfully went through war and maintained business and functional continuity all the way around. I'm a customer of Isracard, so I can testify from firsthand. No one is really prepared for this kind of events, of catastrophe. How did you navigate the company in the field of uncertainty? And we're broad and angled than just cybersecurity, but uncertainty, going through war, how was it like?
So, of course, no one can really prepare to this kind of uncertainty, this level of uncertainty. And what we have done is, in a way, very simple. We followed very simple principles. First of all, we had defined management team that is acting as a war room, meeting twice a day, collecting information, making decision quickly after analyzing the information, even if the picture is unclear. Because from our point of view, the most important thing is to put people in very clear vision of what is expected from them to do. We managed to go through real challenging situation. Our main production facility in Be'eri was shut down immediately, and we were able, together with the Be'eri team, to recover and open alternative line in the Dead Sea, and later on brought back online the main facility under the Army supervision. And all of that was done through a coordination between multifunctional leaders. It's not just the technology, it's the business, it's the operation, the legal, the communication, and of course the IT side. You need all of them together, you need them to communicate, and you need them to take action even when they face unclear picture. And that was the most important thing. Not to wait until you have a full picture of everything. You never get it. That's the reality.
Very good tip.
Being able to handle all those challenges was based on making decision on the go and make sure people know what they are expected to do.
Thank you. And actionable tips. Last but not least, Limor. Please share us with your understanding. Today there's a race among companies to adopt AI. Is it just an opportunity? We already heard that it may be untrusted. But all of these organizations are prepared for the risks that are also embedded in this adoption?
I think that I have two hats, as an investor, as a board member here. So as a board member, I can say that boards are pushing management hard to invest in AI. And sometimes too hard, because everybody understands that in 10 years from now, you're going to have two kinds of companies. You're going to have companies that have embedded AI, and you're going to have companies that simply won't exist. And that's why it's really on the agenda of management and of boards. You know, let's see how we can embed AI, how we can make our business better. But AI is already embedded because every employee is using some sort of AI. They are automating their tasks. They are generating code to make their work more effective, to do their work faster. And I think that this is a reality that we already have, and it creates so many vulnerabilities within a company, and it's very, very difficult to map these vulnerabilities. And I think that that's a huge risk that is very difficult to understand and to mitigate. And now, as an investor, one of our portfolio companies, Zenity, in the last Black Hat, revealed a zero-click hack that enabled them through ChatGPT to take a user's identity, to access sensitive data, and the user didn't do anything. It was just through ChatGPT. Now, I'm on a board of another company that the AI director came to the board and said, I have a great idea. Let's give every employee access to ChatGPT. Great idea. Why? Because he, as an AI director, can check the box. Okay, I've embedded AI in the company. Employees are happy. Productivity will be higher. But think of the risk. And everybody thought it was great, but no one really understands the risk of all these citizen developers that a company currently has. So I think that AI is revolutionary. It's powerful. It's huge. But if cyber teams up until now had a headache, with AI, they have a full-blown migraine.
So don't ask your ChatGPT to update your DNO cyber insurance policy. Okay. So we ran out of time, but please fasten your seatbelts as the next session will take off to aviation and cybersecurity. Thank you very much, our distinguished panelists.